So last week I had like an not so good experience. My grandmother went to the hospital and then she went into a hospice and like doesn't really have that much time left. So I decided to go and visit her. So I'll just recount the like what happened in that period in those few days. So the thing that's not really related to Airbnb and business, but then again, it is a little bit related to Airbnb business because we can actually do a lot of things if we want to in a very short amount of time if we actually decide to take action. So what happened here was that last Monday, my grandmother was at the hospital, so she had like an EKG, like a heart thing, and the result came that her heart was failing. So they put her on an emergency schedule for Tuesday to get a heart surgery and get a pacemaker to keep her heart running. The problem was on Tuesday that I called my mom at around 2 o'clock and she said that the operation, the surgery had failed because my grandmother wasn't strong enough, so she couldn't get it. And that meant that she had between 2 weeks and a few months left to live. So I had to make a decision. So I couldn't find my passport, so I got out my phone and then typed in like in Denmark, then we go on the phone, and then if we want to go and get a passport or go and do anything, then we need to go on the phone and make an appointment. So I went on the phone and I got an appointment on Thursday. So this was Tuesday. So Thursday at 4:01 p.m. then I could go and get a new passport. So I booked the time for the passport service. Then on Wednesday, my grandmother was transferred to a hospice. And I had to work on some other business parts with some lawsuits and stuff I needed to finish. So I finished that on Wednesday. Then on Thursday, I went at 4:01 p.m. and then I got an emergency passport. And then they told me, Pelle, because you lost your old passport, I have no idea where I put it after we moved, then you have to pay for 2 passports. So you get like a stupid fine, we call that in Danish, like dumme bøde. So like then you need to pay 2 passports because you lost one. I don't know where the logic in that is, right? But they're saying like, So I had to pay for 2 passports, so that's what I did. Then I asked my son, do you want to go to visit your grandmother tomorrow on Friday? And then we'll just go on go tomorrow on Friday, and then we'll get home on Sunday. And he was like, well, yeah, sure, we'll do that thing. We'll do that. Then I called my brothers and asked them like, do you want to go to visit our grandmother tomorrow? But they declined. One of them is just a normal work monkey, and the other one is studying. And the work monkey could not get time off his job. So that's like one of the advantages with like being your own boss, is that in most cases you can rearrange your calendar as you want. So we used to have an installation company, and the same thing there. If there were anything where I needed to reschedule, I could call the customer, say like, oh, I have to go visit my grandmother. Is it okay that we move this appointment to another day? And most of the time, then like the customers would agree with that. At the moment, we're not doing that much of that. We're doing mostly like long-term rentals, which like it doesn't matter if I'm in Thailand, China, America. Like I can manage that from more or less everywhere. The Airbnb, I need to manage a little bit more, but at the moment we're out of season, so most of our guests are long term. So that means like they are renting for like a month or 6 months or 9 months, and then I don't really need to do that much with the Airbnb and Booking.com at the moment. So we have very few properties that we need to manage. So I had a few I needed to close, and then I had one I would have to clean on Friday because I had guests staying there till Friday, leaving at early Friday morning. And then I had guests arriving on Saturday. So I closed it on Friday, and then I needed to go clean that. But that's one of the advantages of being like your own boss. So Friday morning I had to drive to Copenhagen, something called Hillerød. So it's actually a 2-hour drive. So 9:30, I went to Copenhagen. Then on my way to Copenhagen, then I had to stop at a gas station. I wanted to eat something, so I went out and like got these bread rolls with sausages inside. So they're like, this is a reconstruction. It's not the actual sausage and bread from that day. So the thing was that the ones I got, like the first 2 centimeters on each side was bread. So like they had made the sausage smaller. I don't know if you've like experienced anything with things getting smaller, like less sausage and meat in the stuff you buy recently. Anyways, so that was what like happened on that gas station. Then at 3:30, then I returned to Rødby from Copenhagen, from this drive thing. Then I had to go to the house and clean the house. So I did that at 4 o'clock. The other day, I just had to like get out here, look at the beautiful paintings I bought from the neighbor that a lot of our viewers hate. I like them. They create distractions. And then I had to get the vacuum cleaner and run into the living room to do some cleaning. And then I was here, and then like 30 minutes, 110 square meters. It's 30 seconds per square meter, cleaning the house, changing the bed sheets, doing everything. And then boom, into the car, going to the border, taking the ferry, 5:15. And then at 5:15, then we were at the ferry, ready to go to the Netherlands. And on the trip, then we have like some costs. So a smart business thing that was very, very expensive on this trip was going on the toilet, right? And it was like, wasn't necessarily clean toilets, like some of them were dirty, like the ones I have here. The wife was like impressed. It was like going to an amusement park where like the toilet seat would clean itself. But anyways, we were paying $1 or €1 to use the toilet. In Denmark, we don't do that. And then, so €1, and then you get like a ticket, and then for the ticket you can go, and then you can buy a part of a cup of coffee. So you pay €1, like equal to around $1. You go use the toilet, you get a ticket, and then you can go buy a cup of coffee for €3. Yay, right? €3. And then all of a sudden you have a small cup of coffee, and I've like paid €3 for that and using the toilet. So that was actually one of the more expensive things on the trip too, because like it's like €20 just went down the toilet. Besides using the toilet, then we had the cost like for the ferry was like €170, and we spent around the same amount of money on diesel for the trip. So around that to do these things. And then we were driving with a few breaks, and then like at 1:50 a.m. Then we arrived in Holland. So in Denmark we call it Holland. On the map it's called the Netherlands. We call it Holland. And actually Holland is a province in the Netherlands, so it's just a part of the Netherlands. It's not the entire thing, but a lot of people from the Netherlands actually prefer that you call the country Holland, which is kind of funny, right? So it's actually just a part of the country that's called Holland, but then in Denmark we just insist on calling everything Holland, which is kind of like funny. Anyways, then on Saturday we woke up, got something to eat, and then 12 o'clock we were at the hospice visiting my grandmother. So I had brought a memory foam pillow for her back. And then we bought like a toy animal because she likes toy animals. So we brought that. Like my son, she gave it to my son 7 years ago, and then he brought it back to her, and then she kind of stole it from him. So he was like, she took my toy, right? Anyway, so we were there at like 12 o'clock, and then at 5 o'clock we left, and then we went out and did some shopping. So shopping, we didn't have that much time to go shopping, and then like the thing is like as you get older, then like what are you buying? Mostly food, right? So we spent an enormous amount of money on food, but it was close to Black Friday, so they had like these magnificent offers. So there was like It was Ferrero Rocher, not this kind, right? This kind is with the coconut, but something similar to this one in a box. And then the before price, I think it was €9.91. But then now it's close to Black Friday, so they had this amazing promotion that before it was $9.91 and now it's still $9.91. I don't know if you have had that happen, right? You're out shopping and then like you're waiting for Black Friday or for like the special offer, and then like now it says it's on discount, but the price is just the same. And sometimes they just raise the before price, so it's much more expensive. And then the thing is, like in Denmark, painkillers, aspirin here, they're called paracetamol and ibuprofen, are actually quite expensive in Denmark. So I went, these are like €1 there. In Denmark, they're like €2. So half price. So that is actually like Black Friday buying painkillers when you're going to the Netherlands from Denmark. And then we are becoming parents in January to a little girl, and then my wife's mother is coming from China, and she likes Oreo, so John went out and bought a lot of Oreo cookies and bought some of these very sweet stroop waffles that are very like famous in Belgium and in the Netherlands. And then we got some sodas that are like, we don't have this in Denmark, so it's called cassis. And then chocolate, Nutella. It's very expensive in Denmark, so like a half jar costs like twice as much as this. So it's like importing the good stuff from Netherlands there. And then they have some chocolate that you put on bread. So that's like a dish. So you have bread, you put butter on it, and then you put this chocolate topping on top. And then my wife went in and had like some bubble tea. So she tried that. And then, of course, we had to get Leah some bubble tea bears, and my son got one too. So yeah, that was like the 1 hour shopping spree. Oh, we got a cake too and something called fla. After the shopping, then we went back. Then we helped my mother clean up in the apartment, and we ate something like a special thing that's like a milk, something between milk and pudding. It's called fla, and we bought like a chocolate cake that we were eating. So we did that, and then we just crashed and slept. And then on Sunday we woke up. We went back to the hospice to visit my grandmother, and then after that, then we at 2:00 we got into the car, and then we drove towards Denmark. Of course, like first we had to fuel the car, so we had to eat some like local meatball called like a gehaktbar. So we ate one of those, and then we had another stop before leaving Netherlands, eating another kind of gehaktbar. And then on the way towards the ferry, then we had to stop because we had seen something in McDonald's called like a Mac Smart, and we had no idea what it was. And then it's some kind of menu that they call Mac Smart, but even after we ordered it, we didn't really understand what it was. Right? So like pretty poor business things. But we had a Mac Smart and a pie. They had some apple pie. So we tried the apple pie, like Mac Ribs, because we don't have that in Denmark. Didn't taste very well, but we tried that. And then we went and arrived at the ferry thing at 10 p.m. So we had to wait 40 minutes for the ferry. So when we crossed the border, as I mentioned, when we went to Germany, no passport control. Germany to Netherlands, no passport control. From Netherlands to Germany, no passport control. They were like, oh, just go on. But then when we reached the Danish border, they're like, yeah, we have to check everything, and like, that's fine, right? But then I had this passport that was like printed a few days ago, right? So it's just a normal printer that more or less printed it. And then they were like, I haven't seen one of these before, one of the police officers said. And then the other police officers like, I haven't seen someone like that, a passport like that before, right? And I'm like looking like this, right? It's like, then they were like confused, and then they were trying to scan with like a they have like a QR code scanner, passport scanner, but then they were like, oh, we don't have enough Wi-Fi. Can you please move the car over here? Then we'll see if we have better Wi-Fi. So I had to move the car, and then they tried to scan the passports again, and then finally it worked, and they were like, okay, yeah, but they haven't seen one of these before. And then I forgot to mention that I got a box, like a Christmas box, from my grandmother that she had, that I'm going to use for cat food. Then we took the ferry, and then we arrived home at 11:45. So the thing is that like a lot of things happen. So this is like if we're looking at normal things, then we actually managed to do like more things, more new impressions, and more new things, eating a lot of new food. We had some fries too, than normal people actually manage to do in like 3 months. So the same thing is like, there's no excuse that you can't like do things. So it's the same thing, like if I want to visit my grandmother, then I just go, right? And being like an entrepreneur and doing that, actually, if you plan it correctly, can give you like some flexibility in the things you can do. But you can actually manage a lot of things and plan a lot of things and get started with your dream or your idea if you do something like right now and you do a little bit of planning. So I know it's not related necessarily, but it is a little bit related to the thing. But like a lot of the things that we regret in life are the things we didn't do, right? So if I didn't do this, I would regret it. It's the same thing if you have a dream and you don't pursue your dream, then you will definitely like regret it. I know Tony Robbins has this thing, so he calls it his rocking chair. So he says, like, imagine you're like 80 years old, you're sitting in your rocking chair at the old people home, you're sitting there rocking, and then you think back on your life, right? Would you regret if you didn't do this thing, right? Same thing with my grandmother, right? If I didn't go there, would I regret that she died and I didn't go and see her, right? And I definitely would, so that's why, that's the cue, then I need to go. Anyways, that was all for this video. Thanks for watching. I'm Palle, by the way. Bye.